Welcome to um, today's lesson. So, today we are going to be looking at sorting, aliasing, and basic expressions. Or you can think of it as just basic arithmetic operations. So, right, in the last class, we looked deeply into where, and we saw logical operators, we saw how to combine multiple filter with logical operators. We also saw how to look at date ranges and all of that. However, in the class today, in this session, what we are going to be looking at is um, how to sort, how to use aliases, and how to do some basic arithmetic operations and all of that in SQL. So, coming from our last class, let's say we are writing a query. Let's take question one. We're starting with sorting. So let's say we are writing a query that returns the top five most expensive freight paid for a US order. So what we are saying is if there's an order that was sent to the US, we want to look at all of those orders and we want to return the top five most expensive. Now, actually we need to add something here called limit. So we say sorting, aliasing, limiting, and basic expressions. Yeah, perfect. So if we come here and we say select, let's just build this out from scratch. We say select star, or instead of doing star, let's just get maybe a few things: order ID, freight, and ship country from, you know, it's going to be sales orders, which is, yeah, from sales order. Yeah, right. So now we need to add our where clause. It's a very simple filter. So it's going to be where ship country equals USA. Now, if we run this, we have all of the orders, sent to the USA, the order ID and the freight, and then the ship country. See that everything is going to be ship country. But the goal is we've only answered one um, aspect of the problem, which is it has to be a US order. So all of the output that we are seeing currently, they are all US order. So what we want to actually do is return the top five most expensive freight, the orders that are associated with the most expensive freight. So how do we do that? It's really easy. There is really no way, or let's say common sense way for you to apply a way in that setting. So what you really want to do is you want to sort and then limit. So what does that mean? For us to get top five most expensive, all we really have to do is just come here and say order by. So that's the keyword for sorting things in SQL. So we say order by that we ordering by, we say order by freight, and it's expected to be in descending order because we want to order from the uh most expensive, downwards. So we say descending DESC, and if we're interested in and the cheapest, say ASC, or not put anything at all. So if we don't put anything at all, it is going to do ascending. It is going to sort in ascending order. But if we want it to do descending, like in this case, we do DESC. Now, perfect. So if we run this, we have this new result set, but now it is sorted. The freight is sorted from the most expensive sent to the USA up to, the cheapest. And we don't want to see the whole thing. The question says we should just get the top five. So that's exactly what we are going to do. We are going to limit it to five. So if we run that, we have just five um, orders here. So this represents the top five most expensive orders sent to the US. Right. So yeah, and that's basically how it works. So all we need to do to sort and limit is to say order by whatever column we want to sort with. Then either we want to sort in ascending or descending order. Then we limit it. That is if we want to limit it. So another thing, let's take another question. Question two. We can write a query that returns the order ID, product ID, and um, product ID, unit price, and quantity of the most expensive um, orders. Let's say of the top 10 most expensive orders. So I say write a query that returns the order ID, product ID, unit price, and quantity. Okay, instead of doing unit price and quantity, and total cost and total cost of the top 10 most expensive orders. So how does that work? We're going to say select. So you're probably going to get that from order details table. So in order details table, we have order ID, we have product ID, we have unit price and quantity. So we say select order ID, product ID, then total cost. We do not have any column called total cost here, but common sense wise, unit total cost is supposed to be unit price times quantity. So we are going to say unit price multiplied by quantity. Then we can go from order details, order detail. Then there is really no filter, so we just go ahead and do order by. So we are going to order by unit price multiplied by quantity. Then it is going to be in descending order because we want from the highest to the lowest, and we are going to say limit 10. So if we run that, we see that we have all of this, and we see that this is everything ordered. And this is just like a basic mathematical operation. So you can do a basic mathematical operation, basic arithmetic operation, just like you would do with normal maths, multiplication, addition, division, and stuff like that. And then you're going to see here that the output of the column, unit price times quantity, returned that exact description in the column title. So we probably do not want that. We don't want to do that. We want to like give it something more descriptive. So we can actually make an alias, and that's where the concept of alias comes in. So we say, let's take this to the next line, a tab, and we say as total cost. And if we run this now, it is going to work, and we have the top here to be total cost. Another thing that we can do is, instead of saying unit rise times quantity in order by, we can also say total underscore cost here, and it's going to work. And this will bring us to a very, very important concept in SQL shortly, which is the hierarchy of execution. The way SQL actually execute queries, all these queries that we pass in, what is uh, the hierarchy of execution? How does SQL execute it line by line? Because it does not execute it in the same order that we write it. So you're going to see that shortly. Let's take another one. I'm going to say, write a query that returns the lowest, or let's say the least 7 orders in terms of freight cost. I hope that English is right. I'm just coming up with these questions off the top of my head, so I hope that English is correct. But the idea is to return the orders that has the lowest freight cost, the 7 orders with the lowest freight cost. So we go select, and we can just do star. We can do select star from sales order, and we're going to say order by, and we're ordering by freight. So it's going to be in ascending, and we limit it to 7. The one from earlier, did it require limit? Okay, yeah, it does. So let's move on and run this. So we see this output here, and it is for those 7 orders that has the least price. You can see that they are literally 0.02, 0.12, 0.14, very, very small values. So that is that on sorting, sorting. And okay, let me show you this. If we remove this and we run it, it is still going to do the same thing, because by default order by will sort things in ascending order. So whether you pass in ASC or you don't, it's going to be fine. But for descending, you have to actually pass in descending order for it to sort it in descending order. Perfect. Then limit, there's nothing, really complicated about it. So it's just passing limit and the number of stuff that you want to see. Now, the part about alias is the part where you actually need to learn how to, plug in alias in the right position. So for example, let's say we write this. Let's say question 4. Write the query that returns the order ID, product ID, product ID, and total cost of orders with total cost above $1,000. Now, how are we going to solve this? We're going to say select order ID, product ID, then total cost is going to be unit price. Let's take it to the next line so it's not going to be too long. Unit price multiplied by quantity. Order ID, product ID, unit price multiplied by quantity will give it an alias. Oh, don't let me do that yet so that you can see. So say from, or yeah, that's cool. From sales order, there is actually something important I want us to see. Then we can see where unit price, that unit price times quantity is supposed to be the total cost, right? So we say where unit price times quantity equals, I'm sorry, is greater than 1000. Yeah, and that's it. We don't need to order or sort. There's no top this, top that, order in or order it in descending, ascending. We don't have that in the question. We just want to see, you know, order ID, product ID, and total cost for orders with total cost above 1000. So let's run this and we see. It says we have an error. It says unknown column product ID. Oh, right. We are not supposed to be pulling from sales order. We are supposed to be pulling from order detail. So we're on that. Yeah, cool. So we have the output here, and everything is above 1000, right? Now, what we actually want to look at is we want to look at, instead of, like I mentioned earlier, instead of having this unit price times quantity as the column header here, we can come into the select here. Excuse me. That is going to be here. Yeah. Let me say as total cost. Then run that. If we do run that, we get total cost as the heading here. But another thing that we could do is we could actually change that also. Yeah. We did the same thing. Let me remove this for a while. We did the same thing with order by here, where we changed, where is it? I think question 2, right? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Where we changed this, so we say total cost here, then we say order by total cost. So let's go see if we can actually do where, since we've already named this an alias of total cost, can we also say where total cost is greater than 1000? That's what you would think normally. So where total cost is greater than 1000. Then we run this. It's going to try an error. And the error is unknown column total cost in where clause. And this brings us to what I wanted to show us earlier, which is the hierarchy of execution in SQL. So why do we have this error? The reason why we have this error is because the hierarchy of execution in SQL is that the first thing that gets executed is from. The from clause, even though we are writing select from where, the way MySQL reads it is from executes first. If there is a join comes after that because technically join is part of from. Then, but let's just say from first, then where, then select, then the other stuff, group by and stuff like that. Now, the reason why we now have this error here, it says unknown column total cost in where clause, because what it does is this. Let's use this exact query as an example. So it says from other details, it goes ahead and grab the other detail table. It says, okay, where total cost is greater than 1000, removes all of the uh the total cost that are greater than 1000. But the thing is, in the real table, there is no such thing as total cost. So it is just something that we created inside the select. So that's why this is not going to work. Because as at the time that I was executing this way, it does not, it has not executed this select. And if this select does not get executed, it will not know what total cost is. Because in the table there is unit price and quantity. So that's the reason why if you copy this, or don't let me copy anything. If you come to this place and instead of typing total cost, we go unit price multiplied by quantity. This is going to work because when it does from order detail, grabs the order detail table, it now says, okay, you're only supposed to remove places where unit price times quantity is greater than 1000. So it will go ahead because you can find unit price column, if you can find quantity column also. So it will go ahead, do the multiplication and apply the filter. But this alias is only going to come, you know, in effect for all of those clauses that executes after the select. And that's the reason why it worked in this case here. That's the reason why it worked here, because from happens first, where goes after it, there's nowhere after where, then select. So it has already done the select. It knows what total cost is, then other by comes after. So that's the reason why this works. So but if that is a little bit of a trouble to understand, just know, you can just have it at the back of your mind that any alias that you have in the select is not going to work. You cannot reference it in the from clause. You can also not reference it in the where clause, because from clause and where clause executes before select. So let's run this. I hope that makes sense. So if we run this line now to see if we are still going to have the error, we are not. So we have our output here for everything greater than 1000. So that is that. Let's write one more on you know just basic arithmetic operation. So let's write the query, and that's going to be the last one I write. Query that returns the amount, the tax paid on each order. The tax, take tax value as 0 point as 4% of the order of total cost. So we are going to write the query that returns the tax paid on each order, then take tax value as 4% of total cost. So we are saying that every single employee, every single customer that buys something from us, they have to pay an additional 4% tax. So we say order ID. Then we can, let's just check total cost. That's going to be unit price multiplied by quantity as total cost. Then we'll say from, that's going to be from order detail. That this is not like solving the question itself yet, but we just want to run this. So we see order ID and we see total cost. So what we want to do is we're going to take 4% of this, of each of these. So how do we do that? Let's go to the next line here. Say comma. Then we can go um unit price multiply by quantity. Let's put that in a bracket. Then 4% is going to be multiplied by 0.04. And we can say as tax tax amount. So if we run this, we have our tax amount here, which is the 4%, right? So if we want to see what they are even going to pay after tax, like everything summed up together, we can go add can say all of this. I mean, you're going to see cleaner ways of writing this when we see something things like cities and stuff. But for now, let's just make do with this. So we can put this returns the total cost. Then we can add that to all of this here. So it's just basic maths, right? So the first one is total cost, that's unit price times quantity. Second one is unit price times quantity times 0.04, which is basically what is the tax amount. Then the last one is unit price times quantity plus unit price times quantity times 0.04. So if we wrap this whole thing, this one in a single bracket, wrap this and give it an alias. You can say as um, cost after tax. So if we run that, you see that this is the cost after tax. So after tax, this person has to pay $174.720. So that's basically basic expression, limiting, ordering and aliasing in SQL. And it's easy. It's one of the easiest concept. They are like one of the easiest concepts to learn in SQL. So I'm going to give you something to work on as usual. So I'm going to come here and give you um little exercise. So I'm going to write the query that returns the order ID and order details. Sorry, order ID, ship country, ship city, and freight cost of the least expensive of the of seven lowest, okay, seven orders with the lowest freight cost sent in January 2007, just to add more layer to it. So that is the exercise. Yeah, see you in the next one. Thank you.